our signal, which was interesting enough. Give me half a second as I recreate everything that you guys don't hear me normally do. And while that's going on, I'll tell you what, Diddy. While that's going on, why don't you tell everybody, because we had talked about this earlier, give them a little bit of your military history. Go ahead and get into that if you would not mind.
Sure, absolutely. So, I hail from. I'm not Texan by birth. Um, I from the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. I actually started out in the Army Guard uh, in '93. Between my senior year of high school, I did like the split op thing. Started out as an 11 Charlie. Came back, so I did phase one of infantry OSIT. Came back, finished high school, and when it came time for me to ship out again to finish phase two, my unit decided to got the word that they had to reflag to an armory unit. Well, being that I live 2 minutes from my house or from the armory, I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to be a tanker now. So I did the part-time guard thing for about 7 years. Enjoyed it, enjoyed being a tanker and everything like that. And then kind of as a move to retain me in the guard, they got me to try out National Guard recruiting for a couple years. So
Okay.
I was AGR for a couple years. Enjoyed it. I mean, I was the recruiter that was assigned to the armory in my town got reassigned, so I actually got to work in my hometown again. So I mean, that was an E7 slot, BAS, BAH, special duty pay in my hometown.
Wow.
So yeah, I was living the dream. And then like I said, so I'm from a little town called Connellsville, Pennsylvania, which and then 9/11 happened, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania, is about 30 miles northwestish. I'm sorry, northeastish from us. So when the planes went down, it was not very far from me at all. And actually the armory where my boss worked at, where we would have our meetings, was in Friedens, Pennsylvania, which is where they set up the makeshift morgue and recovery site. So I got exposed to that. So being 24, 25 years old, and able-bodied, I felt like I didn't want to sit behind a desk. So I made the decision to go to the regular Army. And then, so I go see the regular Army recruiter. I said, hey, I want to go to the regular Army. I want to stay a sergeant. I want to stay at 19 kilo, and I want to go to Germany. And then, he's like, how bad do you want to stay a sergeant? I'm like, oh, damn, here it comes. So they gave me a list of these. And mind you, I had to retake the ASVAB, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, and being that I coached kids, had to take the damn ASVAB, I did quite well on the ASVAB again, right? But they gave me this list of jobs. I mean, yeah, one team, one fight, all that. But they gave me a list of jobs. It was like a cook, fuel handler, truck driver, commo, air defense artillery, and NBC. And I'm like, man. So, and in order to process, I had to resign my AGR position.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was without a job. Right. So I'm okay. So let's put these on a damn dartboard and let me pick one. But no, I actually put a kid into NBC. It was 54 Bravo at the time. He was all gung ho and motivated about it. I had and a friend of mine, she came off of active duty. She was in a smoke platoon down in Fort Stewart, so she was all cool about it. So I'm like, okay, how bad could it be? So there I was going through an IET for the third time, this time as a sergeant. And oh wow, yeah. So I reclassed into what became 74 Delta,
Okay.
and then so got stationed at Fort Polk. So didn't get to go to Germany either. I was put into a Fox platoon. That was cool. Got to be every rotating unit's bitch for my entire time in that platoon, because every rotating unit into JRTC or JRTC, yeah, JRTC. They always requested Fox support. So guess who got pulled, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I enjoyed the box a lot. Yeah. So that was fun. But then I ended up getting pulled out of Second ACR to go deploy with this chemical battalion, 83rd Chemical Battalion, on the other side of post. They were, what was it, Warrior Brigade or something, I think it was called.
Yeah.
But so deployed with them, and I mean, I kind of lucked out because second ACR deployed, a few months afterwards, but they were gone for like 18 months, and I was gone for 6. So I lucked out that first tour during the invasion. But then, got my promotable status, went to Hood, and where's the last place a former tanker wants to be? In an armor battalion. So they they put me in the 3 shop in an armor battalion. So there I am, working the talk as tank crews are coming off of table 8 with the glazed look in their eye, and I'm just sitting there manning the radio, hating my life.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then we end up reflagging to the Cav Squadron. So if you ain't Cav, you probably scored higher on the
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, that was cool. From Fort Hood, I went to Aberdeen for a compassionate when my dad was nearing the end of his battle.
I'm sad to hear that.
Cancer. Yeah, I mean, he fought cancer for 20 years. So he fought a long battle.
Yeah.
But so fortunately, I was able to be close, relatively close to home, while during those last months.
Yeah.
Then went back to Hood, went back to a chemical unit, volunteered to deploy with the MP battalion as staff. Their deployment orders got canceled, so I'm like, I don't really want to be in an MP battalion anymore. So I re-enlisted again to go to Hawaii. They put me in the chemical unit over there, in like a hazmat platoon, but unfortunately, they fell underneath an MP brigade. So that was ironic. But and then, yeah, I mean, I ended up getting out in 2012.
How many years?
For retirement, I think I was at 13 or 14.
Okay.
But total years in service, I was 19.
Very good.
But because 7 years of part-time guard equals to be like a month of active duty retirement or something like that. It's ridiculous.
I've heard. That sucks.
but no, I mean, like I said, deployed for the invasion, then again, and 2005, 2000 for rotation, 2005, 2007. So pretty much all of 2006. Had some. I mean, we had some rough times there. 0507 was pretty rough on my unit, and everything like that. But one of the I guess the great things about active duty, and one of the worst things about active duty is you're always on the go.
Yes.
right? So that goes back to earlier in our conversation to where, um, distraction, right? Because you're always on the go,
Yeah.
you're not focusing on your garbage,
No.
right? More times than not. I mean, obviously, some folks have had, more complex trauma, and it's even the high op tempo
Isn't enough.
doesn't isn't enough,
Yeah.
right? But as a norm, that high op tempo kind of shields us a little bit from our own trauma, right?
Well, not only that, you're around each other.
Yeah.
You've gone through it with each other. So it's kind of a common ground with each other.
Hmm.
And it's, if you want to talk, there's someone you can talk with because, well, they've been through it with you. And if you don't feel like talking, you know that they still accept you for who you are no matter what.
Yep.
And that's the downside to getting out is when you get out, it's like all the, we're 4%. We're 4% of the United States. That 96% don't know crap about us. They don't know what we've been through. I always tell people, just remember, you guys, you're the top 4% because you're the ones who actually answered the call. You're the ones who stepped up. You're the ones who said, I'll do it because, well, that's me. And a lot of times when you get out, it's like, okay, that 4% really kind of starts to strain you when all of a sudden all these other people around you, and it's not any of the 4%. It's not your brothers and sisters because it's no longer, well, they understand why I'm acting this way. Well, sure.
Yeah.
That person who you just sat there and looked at and went, start raising your fingers or starting to think about doing something. He's sitting there going, "Oh my God, he's psychotic." Because of the Vietnam stigma and the Rambo stigma and all that crap.
Yeah.
They sit there and they go, "Oh no!" And it's like, what? I wasn't doing anything. But they don't know that. They don't know
Yeah.
that you have to be able to do. You have to be able to express because it's either that or twist their neck off, right?
Yeah. And but yeah, I mean, it's funny because I had a buddy of mine. He was actually a PA
Mm-hmm.
uh, over uh, in Schofield, where I was my last duty assignment, and he's like, "So have you been diagnosed with PTSD?" I said, "No, I've never gone to mental health." Because why? Because at the time, and I honestly don't know what it's like now. I would hope and imagine that it's a slightly better, but you didn't go to mental health with
No.
the expectation that you were going to keep your clearance and keep your and be competitive and everything like that. So I never went.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, well, you need to go and you need to get evaluated, right?
Yeah.
And so I went, and sure enough, I got diagnosed, and right, um, and so I'm like, okay, well, now I'll file my claim and all that, and it literally took, I think, 2 years, actually 2.5 years,
Yeah.
to finally get um,
You're diagnosed.
get a rating and diagnosis from the VA for
Yeah.
PTSD. Um, but
Which is sad.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm I don't I tried. I mean, a lot of veterans, a lot of people, and so, most of the time, rightly so. They will bash the VA and everything like that. Um, my stance is, I did I get the best mental health treatment out of the VA? No. I mean, it was straight to the pharmaceutical cocktail, but that's their treatment protocol, right? That
Yeah.
is because they get so many people, so many veterans coming in,
Yes, they
right?
do.
They, and because they're short staffed, so high number of patients, short staff, it causes an adjustment of their treatment protocols, right?
Yeah.
I get it,
Exactly.
I understand, right? But I mean, I think Koz was talking about, hey, well, yeah, there was a time where, uh, he was supposed to be on, but he didn't come on or whatever like that. You know, I had intestinal surgery last September.
Yeah.
Had a birth defect I never knew, a life threatening birth defect I never knew about. And I thought I had, I went to the doc because the perpetual mud butt. I figure it was due to IBS, or burn pits or something, right?
Yeah.
That's how they ended up finding that this birth defect was when they did a CT scan, and my surgery was done by the VA, right, in Temple. I'm alive.
Nice.
I'm here. The recovery sucked. Ain't gonna lie. That's why, like I said, I had to cancel a few times back in the fall,
Yeah.
but I was able to get medical treatment, right? And guess what? I don't have a huge medical bill. I mean, I was in the hospital pretty much for a month.
Hmm.
Um, and that's with a 6-hour surgery and everything like that. So it was not a cheap stay. It would not have
No.
been a cheap stay, right? So there are docs there
That,
that care,
that are good.
right? And I look at the overall veteran condition, right? And I mentioned it earlier about intersecting fields of fire. If we're depending on one government entity to solve all of our problems, we need to level set our expectations.
Yes.
The VA can only do so much,
Well, and
right?
that's just it. The VA it's kind of like when you're in the military, you have aid stations, and those aid stations tend to groups, small. In other words, it's always a water down. Aid stations take care of so many companies. Then you get to the higher ups and the higher ups, and until you get to the hospital. The problem is they don't really have the VA doesn't have aid stations. Some places they do, but they really don't. And that's what they really need to do is have outlying areas that can cater more to the individuals rather than you walk in the hospital and you've got masses.
Oh yeah,
It's the numbers that hurt.
yeah,
It's when you're depending on the hospital to take care of so many people when you should have outlying clinics taking care of the communities where there are more, where I'm at, we have a very big veteran community. They'd be better off putting a couple outlying areas so that we don't have to go to the main hospital. So the main hospital would be for the more extreme things. So I agree with you. That's the VA has their own issues, and we can go back and forth on that for hours. But it comes down to we have to take responsibility for ourselves, and we have to be proactive for our own health.
yep. And
And
that's the thing. I mean, and I do not. I definitely know some folks that are getting, in are their mental health treatment at the VA is a pleasant experience, is a good
yes,
experience, right? So, and I'm nobody, but if I go on and make a post or do a live video and I go on some rant about how bad the VA sucks, right? Is it
uh,
gonna make really? Is it gonna really gonna make me feel better? Not really, because I'm still gonna be
no,
pissed off, right? But some person that I'm connected to on social media, they're like, oh well, I was gonna go there, but
exactly.
it's like it does nobody any good to just go on these rants and um, just bash the VA. I mean, I get it. We're a lot of us are angry about the situation, right? But
Yes,
that's why I was saying the VA can't do it alone.
no,
I mean, if the VA could do it alone, there would be no veteran nonprofits, right?
exactly.
Um, but the thing is, we have to realize there are people. I imagine a sector sketch. right? You have intersecting fields of fire. If the VA is handling this, and OPveteran is handling that, and Chado is handling this, and Irreverent Warriors is handling this. If we all intersect our fields of fire and work together, that's when we're less likely to let veterans slip through the cracks.
And
And
that's just it.
that's the whole premise behind the organization. That's the premise behind the Vet Fest event.
And that's what I was. I'm glad to hear you say that. That's the whole idea behind VetFest. That's the whole idea behind what you're trying to do. Is we all know the VA isn't the end all be all. We all know that the VA can only tend to what they can see, what they can hear. Okay, they it's that's it. And veterans will slip through the cracks, not because the VA doesn't see them, but because the veteran themselves isn't being boisterous enough or whatever. For whatever reason, it's not always on the veteran, but sometimes it is. It comes down to other veterans have to help. We have to. I mean, I've talked about this before. There was a what they call. Now I can't even remember the name of it. In Oregon, they have a thing on their little base on the one base on in Oregon. It's a National Guard Reserve base run by active duty National Guard Reserves. And what they do is once a year, they have this big event where they have people come in. They have nonprofits available. They have employers who are looking for vets available, and they have the VA there. And at that point in time, DAV drivers, anybody who knows any vets, are encouraged to bring people who they know are slipping through the cracks.
Yeah.
And bring them to this. And that's what this event that you're talking about is about. It's the same thing. If you know people who are slipping through the cracks, get them there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they're going to get caught. That's how, because they're going to get nailed by their own brothers. I mean, come on. How many of us can sit there and say, "Yo, you're having problems. I don't care what you're saying." We can be upfront about it because why? We went through it.
Yep.
We can call a kettle black, whereas others can't. We can say what's needed to be said, and that guy's going to listen. Why? Because we're the same. We all bleed green. Okay, so at that point, this is what OPveteran is about. He's about trying to get together the groups. He's about trying to get you guys the ways to help yourself, the ways to connect with people that you can't find or you aren't sure about or anything else. And he's one of the ways that will also have the network available. So, okay, you're having problems and the VA is trying to shove pills down your throat. Well, gee, he just talked about a group that made it so that he didn't have to go to that route. This is what needs to happen, guys. I'm glad you're here, Danny. I appreciate it. Like I said, please keep Spanky up with everything, because those events sound like they would be something that I wish you were up in Washington State, quite honestly.
Eventually, like we've got, I've been asked. I mean, other folks on my team have been asked, "Oh, you ought to do a vet fest in, Tennessee, or Ohio or North Carolina." Well, there's
you can only do
the money factor, because Vet Fest. The first Vet Fest was a little bare bones, probably $6,000 event, and the majority of that went to, and we continue this to today. We get a T-shirt made, like a custom bag made, koozies, decals, all that type of thing. Every veteran that comes in, we give them a bag, up to obviously so many.
Yeah.
But we get a metric ton made, and so that's a huge portion of it. Now, with the addition of moving it to a park rather than the back lot of a VFW, there's all kinds of other logistical things going into it.
Yeah.
Plus, with the addition of the music and
permits,
all that type of stuff. in kind, in all the different life support stuff that we had to take care of. I mean, it literally has grown to include in kind donations. So, in other words, donations of services and products and stuff like that. It was literally a $23,000 event last year.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, it was huge. I mean, if you look at the YouTube video, and I mean, we have it on our Facebook, but it's also on YouTube, and see this event. I mean, I actually had, I guess the awe, it had the awe value for me as well, because like I said, last fall, I was down for the count.
Yeah.
I was laying on my couch being miserable. My team are the ones that pulled VetFest off this year, and it was amazing.
Good.
And so, like I said, 150 different nonprofits and businesses. 4 different veteran musical acts. We had, we were slinging, craft beer made by veterans from a veteran-owned brewery. Just all day long, and that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of different events across the country that are called VetFest.
Yeah.
Right. When we threw the first VetFest, I wanted to call it, I don't know, Vetpalooza or Vet Stock or something like that. I never heard of that. But the group of us that were planning the first VetFest were like, well, let's call it VetFest. Okay. So, because at that point we didn't know if it was going to be a success or a bust, right? So we chose VetFest, and then because we never heard of a VetFest, and then since then to now, I'm like, there's like 30 of them, right? and I'm not saying that they're copying OPveterans VetFest. No, I'm not saying that, but it's a common name, right? It's not a stretch to come up with the name VetFest.
But this is yours.
But it's OP, and we're actually rebranding it to OP VetFest.
Good.
Right? A lot of people just call it that anyway. But the one of the reasons we're branding it is just, so there's no confusion, but to set it apart, because each VetFest is different. One VetFest is just, hey, we're gonna feed veterans, right? Or we're gonna do this or do that.
Know which one you are,
right? It's we've distinguished ourselves. So, I mean, this is one of the largest outdoor veteran events across the state of Texas. Right? And it grew from very humble beginnings, and I'm very thankful and proud of all the support and success that we've had thus far, and it just continues to grow.
And you should, again, everybody, I would appreciate it, Denny, if you would make sure Spanky knows, so that it can get posted when things are going to happen, when you have dates, and when you have these workshops, when you know about them, please post them, because we do have quite a big group down in Texas and surrounding areas that would probably like to be a part of these.
Right on.
And I myself would like to see this happen. So, and you're always, and I'm going to say this, you're always welcome to come back on WTF Nation and let people know if there's an update that you want to throw in, if there's something really big that you just can't sit there and say, no, this needs more than a post.
And
I need to get in there and say something, even if it's just 10 minutes. You are more than welcome. Okay.
And I definitely real quick want to take the time to thank the sponsors of the spring kickoff. Rock Springs Behavioral Health, they're an inpatient and outpatient mental health treatment facility in Georgetown, Texas. They came in at a $5,000 Abrams level.
Wow.
And it's huge. Then we had Cognosante. I might know this bearded veteran that works there. They came in at the Bradley level, the $1,000 level. and then we had that's cash, right?
Yeah.
And then we had Blackguard Customs, Under Arms Woodworking, R2 Ammo, American
Cool.
Trigger Pullers, Bravo Company Barbecue,
Nice.
Manny Jimenez Photography, and I'm gonna forget somebody, and I don't have the flyer up.
Well, that's okay.
I always do this. I always do this shit when I go on the radio and I'll be like I'll talk, and like, oh, I got to mention all my sponsors, and then I don't have anything up, and I'm rated at 50% for CRS, and I'm struggling at it, but no, I'm actually good. Texas Outfitters Network, they're producing the documentary footage,
Nice.
as well as our musical sponsors, the Adam Berry Band, Gianna Wheeler, and Long Branch Saloon as well, and we also have Darren McGill performing. So
Okay.
the event that we have, the spring kickoff event, would not be possible without the kindness and generosity of all of our sponsors. So I definitely want to give them a shout out.
Well, thank you very much. If you get a flyer for the spring event with dates, let Spanky have that stuff, because again, this is stuff that is local, that there are veterans in your area, and this is stuff that they can. We have a nice wide audience, and it can be gotten out, and you can have that. Maybe one, you can get a turnout, and two, guys, if you didn't notice, I did put in the tag on the description, the Facebook page. The Facebook page kind of leads to everything else. Do you have an area where they can actually donate?
Yes. So I mean, you can make donations on our Facebook page, as well as through our webpage. We have the donate buttons on both.
Okay.
And so, and real quick, I want to throw out there. I mean, we love straight cash donations. Don't get it twisted. We love straight cash donations, but we also definitely have shirts available. We actually have our own coffee roast that's produced for us from Salt Flat Coffee, and it's called Canteen Cup Coffee. It's essentially our Girl Scout cookie. It's available on our website as well. So I mean, there's all kinds of ways to give, either directly or through the purchasing of swag or coffee or what have you. So
Okay. So everybody, please keep that in mind when you're once we're done here. Go again. I've made sure that their tag is there, OPveteran. Go to their Facebook. You can donate there or get swag if you want it. And if you are in the area, again, don't hesitate. Go to these fests, and I expect to hear from you, Mr. Denny, through either Mom or Spanky, about how things went. And I want to know as events come, because again, this is how we can let the community know. Okay.
absolutely.
All right, my friend, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, because it is getting to that time to where I need to go ahead and wind it down. Okay.
Alrighty, sounds good, sir.
Thank you very much. You have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, everybody. We went a little over, and I kind of gave that one because of the little problem we had with getting dropped. And, well, stuff happens. So, we are at that portion of the show where it is time to wind it down and go through what we got. All right, everybody. If you are new to our show, know that we have a show right now. Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. We are ever expanding our format, of course. Mondays is the Monday Night Edition with Ice and Flash. Tuesdays is Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar. Thursdays is Sergeant's Time with Ice and Spanky. And Sundays is Kicking It with Koz, which is Koz and Owl. I am Owl. All right, everybody. Right now, I don't have a lineup of any upcoming guests, but that is ever changing. So as always, please keep us in mind. Please go to WTF Nation Radio and hit the like, follow, and share. We always love to have people following us, watching us, and sharing us out. We always appreciate the love. Excuse me. And please keep us in mind in the evenings. Come and listen to us, come watch us, and come enjoy us. We always enjoy the chat, my friends. All right, everybody, we're getting to that time of the show when it's time to shut it down. And I'm going to say what I always like to say. Keep it real. Keep it simple. And remember to smile. Because as you heard tonight, you just don't know who you may help. It just takes one little thing to help another person, and that smile may be it. Again, thank you, Denny, for showing up and giving us that information. I'll tell you what, guys, if I were down in Texas, I'd be going to that Vet Fest. It sounds like it's going to be fun. And we will have a posting on dates and times when we have it. You guys have a good week. Take care. And always know you got your brothers and sisters here. We got your back. All right, everybody. Love you. And have a good evening.
Before coffee on a Tuesday, it's already been a bad week. My girls had a couple flats, and my dishwasher sprung a leak. From the kitchen, her complaining, you know it just ain't cute anymore. I get the itch and start to drift towards the great outdoors. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods up on the wall. I got a John boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot, I hear the call. I've just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. Junk mail don't come out there, my phone won't ring. The only thing I want to hear is my reel with a big one on a string. That large mouth don't talk at all, and my weight just sinks away. Set him free, bring him home, the one decision I gotta make. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods up on the wall. I got a John boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot, I hear the call. I've just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. I got my tackle box in the front seat and my best friend in the bed. Don't come looking for me, 'cause I ain't coming home till long after that sun sets. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. I got the rods in my garage down on the wall. Threw my John boat in the truck, filled my camo cooler up. I hit the reset, hit my spot, and heeded that call. I've just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. No, I ain't gone missing, I've just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone.
WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.